Hi. So, yeah, this is random. Um, it's just been a lot going on today. Let me take my glasses off because I am literally glaring at myself. It's just been a lot going on, and I just finished. Sorry, like looking at myself is really distracting. I just want to fix my locks. But um, I just had a lot going on today, and I just wanted to kind of like share. So, I wanted to do this video to share with you what's been going on, um, talk about the Goddess Gathering, talk about some of the videos I've been watching lately and what I got from them, as well as talk about Kai Scorpio reading and messages. So I'm going to link down below the the videos that I watched, or for like Kai, I'm gonna link her Patreon page. If you're not a Patreon member of hers, you should become one. Become one of mine too while you're at it. Um, Before I get started, just thank you so much for being subscribers to my channel. It's really fairly new. So for you to have taken the time to click the subscribe button, like my videos, and just enjoy the content that I'm putting out, I greatly appreciate it. To all my Patreon members, I love and greatly appreciate your support. Um, it just shows that I'm doing a good job. So I got like, those that know me know I write a lot of notes. So I have a lot of notes. So if I'm looking down, that's why. And oh, check out my new, hold on, it's this one. I got some petrified wood. Doesn't that look like the desert? Isn't it gorgeous? I have a whole story about this too. And if you were curious what else I've got on, I have an amethyst and citrine, and this is my moldavite that I've attached to my chakra necklace. Um, so let's start with, I'm not even sure where to begin, honestly. Um, let's start with the Goddess Gathering. I think that is the best place to start. So, for those that don't know, I do a Goddess Gathering, aka a sister circle, but I called it a Goddess Gathering. And I call it a Goddess Gathering because I want the women and ladies, or um, gender neutral, that come to be reminded that they are divine, especially if you grew up in an Abrahamic faith. So I did not grow up as a Christian, but I did grow up in an Abrahamic faith. So a lot of times, Source, the creator, the most high, is referred to in the masculine sense. It is always he said, he did, he, or God. And I feel like that's limiting. I feel like that puts a limit on who the creator is, who source is. And thus, I feel like, especially since there is a line that literally says um, that God created he and she, them, in our image, that God is not just male. Hold on. Sorry. Boys just got home. Yay. Um, but it just it's limiting. So I will switch back and forth because I honestly, God is Lord, the Creator, Source, the Most High. It kind of just depends on what comes out of my mouth, but ultimately, all knowing, the I am knows what I'm trying to say. I feel like people get too hung up on what we call the divine and not the fact that we all believe in a higher power. Um, so that's why I call it a Goddess Gathering, to remind us that the divine is within us too, not just in men, that we are connected. Um, I could go on a whole tangent of why women are more connected, but I'm just not going to do that today. So I have a monthly Goddess Gathering. I let the folks that want to attend vote on the time. Whichever time is most popular is the time that we select. It is associated with my Patreon, but nothing about the Goddess Gathering is for Patreon only. Those posts are public, the meetings are public. I just recently started adding the event to Facebook, so it's public because I just feel called to help in this healing process, because that's what the gathering is for. It's to gather us together and allow us to share space and heal and talk about things that are important to us. Books that we're using in reference are Sacred Woman, um, Pussy Prayers, and Please. So, like this month, there is an exercise for a self love altar, because not everyone's ready to start with an ancestor altar. So, my homework for them was to do a self love altar, and we talked about a self love jar, and they got a little bit of um, some steps to do for that. So, if you are interested, by all means, check out the post on my Patreon. You can always send me a message and let me know what your email address is, and I'll make sure to get you added. You can also find me on Instagram and hit me up in my DM. I'm on there as DeeVine Lee 11. So let's think about the word divinely, but instead of DI, it's DEE. Everything else is the same, and then the number 11, because I'm master number 11. So that's it about the Goddess Gathering. Um, so I'll tell you the crystal story, because this is kind of wild. So my kids were with their dad this weekend, so I decided to um, date myself this weekend. So I went out to walk by the river. I did a thing and overcame a fear of walking by the river. If I figure out how to add a picture, I'll even add a picture of myself at the spot that I had to climb to, because I'm really excited that I was able, excuse me, to accomplish this task. Hold on. Never mind, he stopped. Okay. Okay, I keep trying to remind myself to look at the camera. I kind of want to just do like this and put like a black thing over here so that I can't actually see myself. Um, okay, now I did a thing. Oh no. All right, there. Hopefully I didn't mess anything up. Um, so when I got done, my plan was to go and buy a new candle and buy a fountain. I want to put some water towards the entryway in my house. It's apparently good feng shui, encourages abundance. So I wanted to do that. Um, and initially I thought of one store, and I was like, no, I think their candles are less here. But another place, I don't know. I think the candles are still less closer to my house. And then as I started driving, I said I should go to the flea market. So that's what I did. I went to the flea market. So I went to the flea market, and I did not find the yellow candle, nor did I get a fountain. Awesome. But I ran into somebody selling crystals. This person is who wrapped this one. And it was the same thing. It was a random desire to go to the flea market. Generally speaking, for those who know me personally, know I don't like going to stores right now, especially places with a lot of people. Now, the flea market is outside, so it's not quite as, but it's still a bit. And yes, I wear a mask for some. Please, I wear a mask. Um, but I still just no, and it's too much, too many people, too many vibes, too many energy. I don't like it. Pineapples. Um, so I stopped by the table to look, and I will tell you that I'll only tell you part of it, which is that he let me hold a piece of labradorite. Um, that was really quite stunning. But this was just like, look at me, I'm so pretty. Oh my gosh, I'm so lovely. So I was like, okay, what is that? He told me it was petrified wood, which I had never seen before. And ultimately, I ended up leaving with the petrified wood. Um, I will tell you that I ended up going back to get the labradorite, which is another story, but it was a whole spiritual event. So I think that's why I will leave that for another story time. Hold on. My bad. My son wanted some chicken. Okay, so um, like I said, this called out to me, and what was really cool is that would not let me make an impulse buy. He basically told me to walk away with it, hold it in my hand, make sure I still felt like I wanted it before I bought it, which is what I did. Um, just as the shortened version of this, I essentially manifested going back to get an actual piece of labradorite for free. Um, and it's gorgeous. The flash in it is absolutely stunning. I love it. I love it, and it's really oddly shaped. So, um, that was my weekend overcoming a fear. I also ended up watching the Roseology channel. She is fire. Her aesthetic is gorgeous. I love all of her decks. I just want them all. I actually own one deck that I've seen so far. All the rest of them I must acquire. I must have them. Feel free to send them to me, but they're simply gorgeous. And her messages were so on point. And so one thing that was called out in her message, in Kai's sister circle, and subsequent video was about money and finance. So I found this note that I wrote to myself around numerology. And for those of you who are members of my Patreon, you know, I just did a brief numerology video, but I only went over life paths and angel numbers. I haven't really dug into the other numbers in the chart. But Anne Perry Numerology, she specializes in helping all people, but her passion is life path 11s, and she has some really great breakdowns. So what she did is showed us what the your growth number is. So your growth number is a sub lesson, and it's basically a theme that also highlights your life path. So for mine, my growth number is 8. Love it. So let me show you how an 8 comes up in several ways for me. So first off, what it means is I need to understand how to make, spend, and manage money. I need to understand how far money will go, the relationship that money and power have, and avoid the pressure of needing more money. When I say that resonates so highly with me, because Stargirl, so I've watched both tropical and sidereal astrology. Both of them resonate with me now that I've discovered sidereal. I'm trying to learn tropical first and then at least learn some of the basics of sidereal. I don't know if I'm going to get into the nakshatras and all of that, but I at least want to get some of the foundational understandings and things like that. So in tropical, and either way, my 8th house has a stellium, both tropical and sidereal. It's just ruled by different signs. So I look at my 8th house and I have a sun, Mercury, and Mars all in my 8th house. What I liked about Stargirl's video when she did the rising, so in sidereal, I'm a Gemini rising with a Pisces moon. And one of the things she said, because of the Capricorn Saturn energy of my 8th house, is that I needed to, actually I think my 8th house is ruled by the same, it's ruled the same in both tropical and sidereal, now that I think about that. But the way she explained it is that you know, the 8th house is about other people's money, inheritances. And what she told me is that until I learn my lessons around money, I'll be blocked from money in a manner of speaking. Like I won't receive other people's money. So if you've watched my career journey video, I started off, and I think I started my career journey video from being a waitress, but I also did telemarketing. Excuse me, I did telemarketing. And what's funny is in my youth, I started off pretty well in terms of the type of income I was getting. But what happened throughout my youth is I have ended up homeless and sleeping in my car and things like that. So even if I was in a place where having a good job, I still ended up in a place of hardship. I was often in a place where somebody else was influencing what happened with my money. At one point in two relationships, I stopped paying my car note to pay other bills in the house and ended up losing my car twice. Um, and Kai will probably see this and immediately think of her video and the shift in power and no longer allowing somebody to control my world. That's so, such a word. And thinking about, and I feel like I have, sorry, um, I feel like I have gotten to a place where I have a better understanding, definitely more control, because at this point in my life, it's just newly single mother. There we go. And so I have no choice because I will not allow my sons to ever experience any of those things that I experienced. And I feel like those experiences were important in my journey because it made me not like, I think I've gone through a fear of lack where I was a little bit too frugal with the money and thus not paying myself. Taking a job simply because, oh my God, I need a job. And then challenging myself to have the worth, take the time, even like this weekend, like I got my nails done and I had just did bills and I really sat and looked to see what the money looked like, if this is going to be a hardship, because I haven't done anything like that. I'll get some crystals here and there, but I wanted to do something like in a self-love aspect. So I got my nails done and I got my toes done. My nails are super cute and they're basic. Like, I didn't get anything fancy smancy. The exercise of getting my nails done. And even the crystal, the fact that I was actively, as I drove to the flea market today, thinking about this crystal and the conversation and that it was going to be free. And what I left with from the flea market, because he did offer it to me for free. He absolutely did. That is no joke. And I did not leave without paying him something, but he would not let me pay for that specific crystal. So I said I was going to tell the story later, but I'll tell more about it later. But I ended up with 7 crystals for $10. And all but one are for me. And all the ones that I have are all, other than, like, I got a citrine and because I'm working on my solar, down here somewhere, my solar plexus, and I got a clear quartz, and I don't know, I feel like I'm about to do something this weekend with the full moon and I need a little, so I got clear quartz. But generally speaking, it was a great deal. Like, I have never, like, that just was a really, really good deal. And, for the record, I've only been in my spiritual awakening. Let's see, my locks are about 7. So it's only been about like 6 months or so, because my locks are only 7 months old. So yeah, so that was a thing that happened. And this is why the 8th really, 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 really resonates with me when I see it pop up, because I'm also a 3/8 life path 11. So not just an 11. If you do my birthday, I'm a 3/8 11, and that comes up for me often. Even my address is an 8/3, and I think I saw 3/8, and I'll see. Like I mentioned in my angel number video, I don't always see angel numbers. I'm not limited to triples or doubles. I'm not limited in that way. I see patterns and synchronicity, period. So life path 11, it's, the 1 and the 2 energy. And so the way I'll see it sometimes, like I saw a car tag and it was 382. So for me, I'm the life path 3/8/11, which again is a 2 vibration. And that's how I see messages. So I'm getting them all the time because I'm not limited in what those messages look like, just if they jump out to me and I notice them. So that was that. And I got a message in our sister circle So if you become a member of Kai's Patreon, you could join her sister circle, and it's really beautiful. But she makes space to do readings for us and does pick a cards. And so the one that I got was around breaking cycles with money and the women in my family and the ancestry. And that was just like, that makes so much sense. So much sense. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes. So interesting. So I do my own 2 week divination for what the energy is around me for the next 2 weeks. So I did that for myself. And things that I wrote down before I pulled any cards were money. Look at savings instead of budget. Um, but when I pulled cards, I have the chicken. Hold on a moment. Son wants chicken. Sorry. Okay, so I have Goddess Tarot deck. So one of the cards I pulled specifically was the 8 major arcana, which is the Crow Woman, which is the Libra card. I also pulled some other cards like the Child of Fire. Well, actually, yeah, I pulled Yemaya and the Child of Fire jumped out. Kali, which is the death card. She came out in reverse. Shakti, Ecstatic Union, came out as well. So some things that I wrote down for myself for this week that just passed were, as I needed to ground and center, say some affirmations for growth, send up prayers, accept the healing for it's leading to my progress and abundance. One of the crystal cards, because I have the Crystal Spirits deck as well, that I pulled out was Smithsonite, which is rebirth from chaos. Some of the other ones were Nuamite, which is self-mastery and you are enough. Clear Quartz, which is about growth. Where are you growing? Carnelian, increase your confidence. And Aquamarine, acceptance of personal truth. So I'm not going to tell you everything that Kai said because honestly, I want you to join her Patreon and get the majority of these messages. But I will say that Kai snatched my edges and I don't really appreciate it. Love you, Kai. So things that she called to look at that stuck out to me were about what Scorpio season is about. So again, I have a lot of activity in the 8th house. So I honestly feel like more so even than my birthday, because I'm in a tropical Aquarius, sidereal Capricorn. And that Pisces moon in sidereal. But that 8th house is it's just lit. Like my 8th house is really, really lit. From the interest in the occult. There's so much about sex I could talk about, but that's again another video. It's just a lot. So things that jumped out were around the transmutation of energy and shadow. And why that jumped out is because I just watched Roseology's video around spiritual gifts. I won't tell you why I picked the decks I picked, but I picked 2 different decks because I was called to do so. And the message for both was so on point and accurate, it was insane. I will say, since we talked about the goddess gathering we had yesterday was all, we talked about balance, healing our divine masculine and feminine energy and why that was important. And the last thing, well, not the last thing she said, but one of the things she said in the last pile that I picked was, you may be called to heal divine masculine and feminine energy. I almost threw something at my TV. I was like, come on, man. Come on. So, and I'm still so new in my journey that when stuff like that happens, I still get excited. So I'm like, okay, I like to see that I'm in alignment. I like to see that I'm walking in my purpose. So I thought that was really great. They're definitely, because it's, Scorpio season is the 8th house. There's a lot of money themes. So things that I just, I worked on my budget, looking at my savings, trying to make sure that I am cutting away the fear of lack and accepting the reality of excellence and abundance. Literally, my first name vibration is an 8. I've recently asked people to address me by my first name. There's nothing wrong with the vibration of my nickname, but my first name is literally abundance. I'm literally abundance. I accept and receive that. So that was something. Winning this time, oh man, that resonated in such a huge way, because when I think about a similar breakup and what happened to me, the trickle out spiral of that breakup and this one, I am in such a different place. I am healing in such a different way. It is not that, like, I may look like everything's fine. There, for the most part, right this minute, I'm good. Last night I had a moment, but right this minute I'm good, and it'll be that way. But the energy around this is different. I can feel it. I feel victorious. FYI, Kai, when you were, just before you said victorious, I said it in my head. Great minds. The stuff about Uranus, which is funny because I talked about Uranus in my moon video. And so the sun is in my 5th house right now, and Uranus is in my 11th house. And things about Uranus, like random visions. So I'll just say I got an upgrade. Scorpio season came in, and all of a sudden I got a spiritual upgrade. I'm still working out how to use it, how to work with it, but I can definitely say I got a spiritual upgrade in alignment with the gifts that have been told to me on more than one occasion. And I think there's definitely something in my shadow that was a little afraid to acknowledge and accept them. And I don't feel that way much anymore. So, I've been working on not letting myself be triggered by people, because I feel like one person in particular has been trying to trigger me. And I have not been, I feel like they've been goading me into a back and forth that I have not allowed. I just haven't allowed it. Me a year ago would have been crying, and it just wouldn't, me even 7 months ago, it would not, I would have fell for the goad, and I didn't. And I've been so proud of myself. I feel like over this weekend I got tested. Over this week I was, this is a new week. Last week I think I was tested at least 3 times. And I feel happy that I feel like I passed my test. And what's funny is, one thing she calls out is being the opponent, not being somebody else, but being yourself. And I feel like that's absolutely true for me. I feel like there may be somebody else, but I feel like a big part of it is me and limiting beliefs and self-talk and how I talk to myself, because I still have to work on that. I still have moments where I have to say, don't say that. Don't tell yourself that. You are awesome. You are amazing. You are gifted. You are intelligent. You are beautiful. And I have to do that. I have to do that exercise. So she pulled a card, and I had to send her a picture of my nails, because this exact blue is on the card. Not only was it on the card, she did her video on Friday, and Friday is the day that I got my nails done. And then Saturday, I wore a shirt that's the same color, blue, when I was overcoming my fear. And I slipped and I fell. Trying to climb down to go be by the river, I slipped and I fell. And hold on, I still sit. I wonder if you can see it. I got an ouchie. Hold on. See the little ouchie on the side of my hand? Yep, I got a whole little ouchie when I fell. Can you see my elbow? Oh yeah, you can even see it right there. That I really did actually fall this weekend. Yep, I got myself pretty good actually now that I'm looking at it on camera. But it was, that jumped out immediately. That jumped out so much I had to send her a picture. One of my favorite analogies she used is the computer, about closing a few tabs and allowing things to come forward. And she's even heard me say it. I feel like at some point I was closed off. I couldn't see, or I could not be seen. And then all of a sudden I see. And I told her today that she was very gifted and blessed, because to me, at least 3 things she's told me came to pass. And you know, that means a lot to me. So if you feel like things are falling away, 'tis the season, let them fall. There was a call out to understand that the moment you say I'm surrendering, that's not the moment you surrendered. I feel like at that moment you're planting the seed, and then you have to wait for that seed to grow. So I can recall telling myself I've surrendered, but it's only recently that I feel like that's really actually happened, and I wasn't thinking about it. So I feel that was great. The tunnel vision. Oh. For those of you I told my spiritual experience to, and over the phone today, that tunnel vision, and then the way I described what happened. Oh, that was wild. Yeah, my 5th house is interesting. And I'm looking at like where my Leo is, and Leo is my 2nd house. So yep, that's really interesting. One of the animal guides she mentions is snakes. First off, I'm not a fan, but I'm also confident I saw snake skin earlier today. I've never seen it before, but that's what it looked like. I don't know if that's what it was, but that's the vibe. That's what it looked like. And Stargirl like dropped some like certain animals and things, which is a lizard, and I keep seeing lizards. Not undercutting yourself. So there's something I want to do, but I'm waiting till Mercury retrograde is done. So sometime next week. I may work on it now, but I'm not going to bring it to fruition fully until after Mercury retrograde, once it goes station. At that point, as long as the moon's not void, I got to still look at when the moon is void that week. But after that, then I should be good. Definitely setting boundary energy is, I recently told someone I'm not just gonna keep being the first person to call and text. I'm just not. And I told my best friend that I wasn't going to do that for anyone, male or female, friends, potential partners. I'm just not. I feel like I want the same energy I'm expending to be returned. Otherwise, I'm just emptying my cup. I feel like if one of my friends is married with children and they can take the time to just take the time to make space and make time for me, I feel like I shouldn't settle for anything less than that from anybody else. And I don't want to give less than that unless I find that I'm emptying my cup and I'm not getting anything in return. So yeah, I'm putting boundaries in place. So like using my name, let's give and take in terms of communication and things like that. I get things get busy, so I'm not saying each and every time, but if it's like I'm 10 and you're 2, that's a bit of a discrepancy. So that's kind of where I'm at. Um, the nut settling, there's some work stuff that resonates with that too. I'm just gonna leave that there. Um, let's see. I will give you this gem because my two other favorite quotes are your net worth does not determine your self worth, and all or nothing. Those are resonate huge with me, and I appreciate the messages. So those are some of the things that came from Kai's video. Like I said, the Roseology spiritual gifts video was like live. I mean, the accuracy of it was just really, 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 really wild. I'm looking at my notes. The Yeah, I thought I wrote notes down for, hold on. Oh, I will say that a good exercise to try is if there's any big events that have happened in your life, maybe take a look at um, what's happening with you numerology wise, like what your personal year number is and what the essence of your personal year was. Um, because and I can Ann Perry does a good job explaining that. I can say that what jumped out to me is some of the really big ones, like were the really big years, um, and really big, um, yeah, some of the really big energy have like eights or numbers that are really important in my natal chart, in my numerology chart. Um, like 2015 is the year I got pregnant, and that was my personal year 11. And I just, that was, big ups to Gabriel. I just feel like for that to be not the year I got pregnant, the year I had Gabriel. I had Gabriel and my rainbow baby that same year. So birthed the whole archangel, and I, you know, had to go through that trauma, that grief, that loss, and then subsequently, you know, just a few short weeks later, I was pregnant again. And what that, what seed that planted and how that grew has changed me. I will say one of the things that Kai predicted during an ancestor reading, she does really great ancestor readings. I've got so much healing from my ancestor journey. And one of the things she said was that, in the course of me moving and growing, that I would be essentially reconnected with my son, but in a different way. And, you know, there's egos like, okay, maybe I want to have another baby. And it's not to say that I won't have another baby. But what happened is I chose hospital disposition when he passed. He did come early and passed subsequently the same day. And I was so distraught, I chose hospital disposition. And that's something that kind of haunted me because, especially his birthday, I'm like, I don't have any place to visit him or take balloons or take flowers. Now, he does have his own altar now. So blessed, I'm so happy with that. But, there was still that piece that also wanted to take it to where he was resting. And that's like, to my mind, he wasn't resting anywhere. And now I know that he is. Not only do I know that he is, I went to go see him Saturday. So I've only been here not even a month yet. And just a couple of weeks into being here, I get this information. Why didn't come? This has been 5 years since he passed, and to get that information now, right after I move, was that was powerful to me. So yeah, look at some of your um, stuff that's happened. What's your personal year? What was your personal month going on? Like, I know that the Magenta place um, was a big. There was a big catalyst. I met some key people. I think I met a lot of my soul tribe there, and it was my personal month was 11 at the time. Um, it was just a lot of these things jumped out and made a lot of sense. So that's all I just wanted to share. I'll make sure that some of these other videos are in the description box. I'll link Kai's Patreon so that you can join and see her Scorpio season video along with all of her other content. I will link my own Patreon so that you can also see my other content until that's not public right now. And sorry, my son has my glasses on and I was surprised at how much he looked like his dad. He wants me to put my glasses on. So glasses are back on. You have to hold it. It doesn't sit. You just hold it. I'm sorry. He's got one of these. And he's trying to see how it works. Okay, so in either case, I hope that you got something from this. I hope you all have a great, great week. This is a blue moon weekend. It's gonna be lit. So hope you have a great week, great weekend. Lots of great energy this week. Tap in, meditate, ground center, and hope you all have a great night.